Sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Neha Bhikramana Shosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpamapyasya dharmasya Trayate mahato bhayat Parthanaiveha Vinashastasya vidyate Nahi kalyanakrit kaschit Durgatin tata gacchati. Welcome to the second session of welcome to the second session of Pratijñā-Gītā. Pratijñā-Gītā is a set of verses which selected from the Bhagavad-Gītā itself by Sri Swami Shivananda ji, and the Pratijñā-Gītā is a series of promissory notes, promissory verses by Bhagavan to the Bhakta / the one who is a Jignasu, Mumukshu, the one who is a Moksharthi. The road to moksha is, as we have seen in the Kathopanishad, like the edge of a what? Slab of butter. No. Razor. Razor's edge. Kshurasya dhara nishitha. Sharpened razor's edge. Duratyaya. Difficult to walk on. Durgama patha kavayaha vadanti. The Kavis say this is a very, very difficult thing. And so, therefore, as we saw, we need a lot of assurances and validations on the way. These kinds of validations that one needs on the way to the in the inward spiritual journey cannot come from the people around oneself. Why? Why not? Because they themselves are in the same predicament of needing validation, needing support. Either that or their life will be actively dedicated to what? Stopping you from going on the path. That is also there. And so therefore, we cannot look for validation with this, with this group of people with whom one is familiar. Family, friends, significant others, etc. They will not be able to validate. Firstly, because you have stepped away into a recognition of yourself to the extent that they have trouble understanding why you have to go somewhere for 6 months. What is wrong with you? That they will not understand. It's a little difficult. So the validation, for pursuing this knowledge, no validation will come. But if you say, I am trying to go abroad to do a degree. Yes, please. We will borrow and give you the money. We will do this, we will do that, all kinds of things. But for this knowledge, there is no validation. Why? Because there is no value. Alas, sakalena iha mahata yogo nashtaf parantapa. Mundakopanishad famous quote, correct? No. Bhagavad-Gītā, 4th chapter, it is there. 3rd chapter. Sakalena iha mahata yogo nashtaha parantapa. Hey parantapa, in time, the value for this knowledge has receded. And so therefore, any validation that is going to come from whom? Bhagavan. That is the validation we need. And so I get, as a result of these promises, what happens, the phala of studying this Pratijñā-Gītā is that I get less and less dependent on local validation. And I get more and more Ishvara dependent. Oh, but that's also a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because that Ishvara is who? Me. Yeah. Me means you. Okay. Yeah. So that Ishvara is you. And that Ishvara being you are what? Being self-dependent. The self that is in the process of being known. And so therefore, we saw that this is the phala of studying the Pratijñā-Gītā, and we also saw that the first, mantra, the first verse that was chanted was both the stuti of the Karma Yoga and the promise in the Karma Yoga. Na iha abhikramanashaha asti. There is no great undertaking which is a setup for failure. Pratyavayo na vidyate. There is no chuti, there is no papa if the karma is done badly. If it has the spirit of Karma Yoga, even a badly done karma blesses. As we saw in the 18th chapter. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthitat. Shreya. It's more exalted to do one's own karma badly than to do somebody else's karma, try to do somebody else's karma well. Swadharme nidhanam shreyah. Paradharmo bhayavaha. So even if it is very badly done, my own karma, but it still is a source of blessing, and this is what is talked about by Bhagavan here, very, very beautifully. Pratyavayaha na vidyate swalpamapi asya dharmasya. Even if a little bit of this dharma is taken to heart, is taken in one's life, trayate. It is like a antiviral. One takes antiviral concoction. Why? Because all these respiratory and other viruses I don't want. So I take this antiviral. So this Karma Yoga is like an antidote to the fear of samsara. Trayate mahato bhayat. Mahato bhayat means great fear. What is the source of fear? The source of fear is anything other than me. That is the source of fear. Because anything other may be bigger. It may swallow me up. It may cause problems. Source of fear is threefold. Just like the source of ashanti is threefold. Adi daivika, adi bhautika, adhyatmika. From forces I cannot control. Adi daivika, adi bhautika, from my very own surroundings. And then adhyatmika. Adhyatmika means what? From my own self. One is frightened of oneself. A 1-month-old baby suddenly learns how to laugh, and then it hears its own laugh and bursts into tears because it has heard its laugh for the first time. It's not used to it. This is the kind of fear that we are talking about. The fear of samsara is the fear of one's own self, is the fear of being eminently uncomfortable, living in this body-mind sense complex and not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go, and is just the fear of everything. This is what fear of fear itself, this is what it protects. So the first verse that we studied last night is the promise of protection in terms of Bhagavan's promise of protection for the karma yogi, for the person who is a karma yogi. And the second verse that we chanted today and we studied yesterday, which one was that? 6th chapter, 40th verse. Nahi kalyana krit kashchit durgatim tata gacchati. This was an assurance for the one who is studying Vedanta. And who is the one studying Vedanta? It will be, yes, exactly. It will be just one person in the whole family. It won't be everybody. It won't be everybody. If everybody was studying it, then it is easy. Then I can say, oh, I'm fine. I'm having a good time. You are beloved to me. You are also studying it with me. You are my friend. You are also studying it with me. We are all in this together. But sadly, that's not what happens. The lone ranger, one person, kaschid dhiraha. So everybody is swimming downstream. Why? It's effortless. It's easy. Everybody is swimming downstream. One person is swimming against the current. Breathless. And then everybody looks at this fellow and laughs. What are you doing? You are going upstream. Everybody is flowing down effortlessly. Into what? Into a pool of Atma Ajnanam, that's what. But they don't know that. Here, this person is swimming upstream to get out of samsara. That is what the person is doing. Slowly trying to get out of samsara, and the other people are flowing with samsara, and then they thank themselves and each other. I know I have a sinking feeling, you also have a sinking feeling, but we will hold hands. And then what? They all fall down, we'll sink together. Not S-Y-N-C, okay? Yeah, S-I-N-K, sink together. We'll sink together. At least there is some dubious, satisfaction that we are all in this together. What kind of a satisfaction is that? So, especially for the one studying Vedanta, every step of the way some assurance is needed. Am I doing okay? Am I all right? Am I on the right path? Should I be doing something else? Is this a mistake? Would you really tell me if this were a mistake? How should I go forward? What should I do? This is all there. And Bhagavan comes like a cool breeze from the Ganga. For this hot head which has gone into a spin, it is spinning like a top with all kinds of worries, fears, what next, how am I going to live, what's going to happen, where is this knowledge going to go, will I remember, will I retain, what's going to happen, all so much confusion. And this verse comes as a beautiful, cool breeze that embraces all those fears and confusions. And what does this verse say? This verse says that as we saw yesterday, what did this verse say? Nahi kalyana krit kashchit. Kalyana krit means kalyanam karoti, the one who is engaged in an auspicious action. What is the most auspicious action? Atma-jnanam. Pursuing Vedanta is the most auspicious action, we saw that. And then, while pursuing Vedanta, then that person will not come to any grief, will not come to any hardships. This is a promise, and this promise one needs. Thank God, this promise is there. I need this promise at this point because I'm doubting myself. I'm doubting, but then if I say, okay, all these people are also studying with me, I'm doubting their sanity as well as mine. I have reached that stage. And so therefore, this promise from Bhagavan, not only are you protected in this life, you are assured of a wonderful birth in the next life from which you will pick up this thread and continue this pursuit. Provided this pursuit is not finished here, do not worry. Durgatim nagacchati, he tata. O friend, O Arjuna, O Partha, Kalyana krit kashchit, Durgatim tata nagacchati. So what to talk of the hardships right now? Even after death, you will not go any difficult life. You will not be reborn as a frog. You will not be reborn as a big, what else? Alligator, frog, all these things. Biting things, jumping things, crawling things. No. I'll be born as a yogi. I'll be born as a baby yogi. And the parents playing with me will say, oh, this one is wise beyond its few months. It looks like an old soul. That is what we call old soul. Because they had studied Vedanta earlier, like the rishis, the grey-haired rishis sitting under Lord Dakshinamurti. Vriddha Shishya Gurur Yuva. Vriddha means they are all old, elderly. Why are they elderly? Because they have been around and around and around. They have done the rounds of birth and rebirth and re-rebirth. So the first verse was for assurance for the lifestyle of Karma Yoga. The second promise was for the person who has newly entered the realm of Vedanta. Very nice. You see how it is arranged. This is why it is arranged like this. Now let us see the third one. The third verse is, what did I say? 931. So open to 931. Yeah, 931. And let us chant that together. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Shashvachantin nigacchati. Shashvachantin nigacchati. Kaunteya pratijanihi. Kaunteya pratijanihi. Me bhaktah pranashyati. Name bhaktah pranashyati. Beautiful, very nice. Kshipram means very quickly. Very quickly the person gains antahkarana shuddhi, leading the life of Karma Yoga, pursuing Vedanta. What happens? The person gains what is called antahkarana shuddhi, inner cleansing. Inner cleansing means what? Deep cleansing. What is this deep cleansing? The mind, the heart is purified of stubborn ragas and stubborn dveshas. The heart is purified, the mind is purified, and then there is a very beautiful expression of growth. It's very, very nice. Kshipram. Time frame is not given. Kshipram means quickly. There is even a river. One of the rivers is called Kshipra because she flows very fast, I suppose. So Kshipram bhavati. The person becomes dharmatma, an embodiment of dharma, like Lord Rama. Even in sleep cannot do anything wrong. This kind of the person for whom the values of dharma has been internalized, because that is the prasada of what? Karma Yoga. And then the prasada of Jnana Yoga is presented in the next phrase, Shashvat Shantim, Shashvat plus Shanti, Shashvat Chanti. Shaha, Chaha, Ati. Sutra. Shashchoti. So, the Shashvat Chantim Nigacchati. You see how beautifully the two are summarized here. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Who is being described here? Karma yogi. And then because one has got a certain paripakvata, one is ripe for this knowledge. The knowledge just walks in the door without knocking. That is what moksha does. Moksha doesn't even ask, shall I come in? It already enters because it knows it's welcome there. And then it demands a cup of tea and stays in that heart. And so then what happens? The person has unwavering jnana-nishtha. Shashvat Chanti, Shanti. Shashvat means long-lasting. Shashvat, long-lasting Shanti. A Shanti that does not change. A Shanti that does not, is not coming with a full stop. A Shanti that is lasting. And that is the prasada of Atma Jnana. And regardless of where the person is, whether the person is a karma yogi and still doing karma yoga and also pursuing jnanam, or the person is a jnana, pursuing jnanam as well after having finished or side by side with karma yoga, doesn't matter where the person is, regardless, both those people are bhaktas. They have to be. Bhakti is not a separate path. It cannot be. Because what will the bhakti yogi do? Bhajans. Well, that is karma. Verbal karma. What is that called? Vachikam karma. No, she will do rituals. That is what? Kayikam karma. No, he will meditate. What is that? Manasam karma. It is still karma. Bhakti is expressed through karma. And so bhakti is not something separate. It is common. It has to be there. It's a must for the jnana yogi. It is a must for who? Karma yogi. For both the pursuant of knowledge and the pursuant of what? The Vedanta. Bhakti is very central. Without bhakti, no mukti. Exactly. Where there is bhakti, there is mukti. No bhakti, no mukti. In America, in restaurants, they put no shirt, no shoes, no service. Meaning don't come barefoot and topless. That's the idea. Okay, don't walk in and expect to be, because our restaurant is a very nice restaurant and we don't entertain this kind of roadside riff-raff. So, come nicely dressed. So here also, the dressing for mukti, you have to be wearing a shirt of what? Bhakti. Then only mukti is served, when bhakti is worn as one's cloth. So this is the idea, name bhaktaha pranashyati. This is a very important promise, because the road of bhakti again, even though it's delightful, has a sense of longing and missing. Why? Because the person is still in production, in process of entertaining the knowledge. There is a longing for Bhagavan. So if you're standing outside the temple, you feel like going inside. Then if you're standing inside the temple, you feel like going inside. Then if you're going inside the temple, then you feel like hugging the Shivalinga. Then if you're allowed to hug the Shivalinga, you want to just become one with the Shivalinga. This is the sentiment. There is the bhakti always leaves one with a certain longing. And the root of this longing is a feeling of not belonging. The longing is a result of feeling I am not belonging anywhere. The not belonging leads, the feeling of not belonging leads to longing. So in the bhakti, there is some longing. Where are you? Who are you? And like one of the satsang questions we saw, are you listening to my prayers? How do I know? Show me that you have listened to my prayers. Sometimes it comes at a very interesting, it has some very interesting, if you pray like this, it has some very interesting consequences. It happened to me once. And then I was in somebody's house and then I was praying, and then there was some kind of a puja and dinner organized. And then I was drinking some water in the kitchen. They had given me some water to drink, so I went to put the glass over there. And seeing me right next to the counter in the kitchen, somebody said that can you just open the fridge and get this for me? So I said sure. And as I was opening the fridge, I just was asking Bhagavan, answer my prayer in a way that I can understand. Hit me on the head. I said that, okay? You shouldn't say like this. I said, hit me on the head and tell me. And then I opened the fridge. On the fridge was a 5-gallon, thankfully plastic, container of apple juice which hit on the head, bounced on the floor. Nothing happened to the head, as you can see, or maybe you can't see, I don't know. But but it was an instant answer. It was an instant answer. I said, if you have heard the prayer, tap me on the head. I said, tap me on the head. So that was Bhagavan's tap. Bhagavan being everything, the tap, Bhagavan being very big, the tap is also quite big. So these kinds of assurances, this was a long time ago, so this kind of assurances is there all the time. Name bhaktaha pranashyati. My bhakta will never come to grief. This is a beautiful thing. And how nice it is to hear that. How nice it is to invite it in our hearts. And just this itself becomes a source of contemplation. Whenever one is feeling sad, whenever one is low, whenever one is feeling neglected by the world and confused by one's own priorities and the choices before oneself, when we don't know which direction to go, this is the verse to contemplate on and to keep seeing the meaning. Name bhaktaha, and the bhakta can be a karma yogi, can be just a dharmic person, can be also what? Can be also a person who is pursuing Vedanta, will not come to grief. Na pranashyati. Pranashyati means no destruction will come to my bhakta. My bhakta is always protected, and this is true. Every day we dodge boulders, we dodge so many things. Anything can happen, but we take Bhagavan for granted. When I eat, simple act of eating, it is going into the correct pipe. What if it goes to the windpipe? Bye-bye. That's all. Nothing more. You can have some kind of an aspiration problem, and then one can just not even wake up. One can choke. One doesn't choke. Most of the time it goes in the right food pipe. It goes properly. The breath goes in and then comes out. And then the food goes in and then gets digested. It's all just a miracle. It's just a miracle. Here, listening to this verse, one might think that only the bhakta is protected. What about the non-bhakta? Non-bhakta is also protected, but the protection is just according to the prarabdha of the person. Whatever punya the person has, that punya fructifies, and according to the punya the person is protected. But the bhakta here is praying all the time and digging for the gems of punya from the acts of prayer every day. So therefore the protection is much more overt and much more sensed and much more present, much more clear, much more present. And so therefore, Name bhaktaha pranashyati. My bhakta is never ever destroyed, will never come to this kind of a grief. So no matter how, there is an expression in the English language to talk about the spiritual journey. What is that called? Dark night of the soul. Dark night of the soul means some kind of a elemental transformation that's happening, a primal issues are coming up, some kind of a big transformation, a growth spurt is happening, but in the moment it looks terrible, it feels terrible, and I just feel awful, the person will say. But then even that is just protected by Bhagavan, and then one comes through very, very easily. This is the 931. So 931, so the first one was for Karma Yoga, second one for the person studying Vedanta, the third one is for the devotee, regardless of whether the person is a Karma Yogi or a Jnani or somebody who is studying Vedanta. Studying Atma Jnanam doesn't matter. Then the fourth verse is 922, famous one. Ananyāścintayanto mām janaः paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. This is the next stage of doubt that comes in the study of Vedanta Shastra. Two kinds of doubts are, intended to be understood here. The first kind of doubt is that if I am going so deep into Vedanta, practical doubt, who will pay the bills? Practical doubt. Are you going to pay the bills? Who is going to pay the bills? Bills have to be paid. Food bill, light bill, electricity bill, water bill, rent, that's also a bill. So many bills. And I'm enjoying studying Vedanta, but then who is going to take care of me? Lifelong I cannot be studying Vedanta. Practical matters are there. And then therefore what? Yeah, this was a good 6-month run. Now what? Back to business. Back to business as usual. This is the feeling. But then that feeling is also not right. Back to business as usual means I have myself, because of my value systems and my choices, I have decided to make an investment in the form of Vedanta for these months. Am I going to throw it to the winds? Am I just going to all let it go? Then what kind of an opinion I have of myself? If I myself have chosen and I'm throwing this I have chosen after a lot of deliberation, Viveka, I have chosen this, Vairagya. I have gone through Viveka, I have gone through Vairagya, I have given up a lot of things that I could have had, basic creature comforts. I have given up, and then this is what? Because of my value for this knowledge, I have not let any of that come in my way. And am I going to throw it all to the winds? Then what kind of an opinion will I have of myself? Because it's my own choices. Now I am doubting. So this is the first kind of doubt that can come. But what about how to continue studying? And then I am studying now, but then how will this continue? Because there are practical matters of so many practical matters. This is one particular doubt that this particular verse in the form of Bhagavan's promise is going to address. And then the second doubt is this, that if I am studying this, when will this knowledge come? And what do I have to do to make sure I am on the path? I'm continuing on this path. These two things this particular verse addresses, as we have seen before, but that 9th chapter was a long time ago. So, ananyaha, anyaha, separate. Ananyaha, non-separate. Chintayantaha, for those who contemplate upon me as the truth of themselves. Mam chintayantaha, ananyaha. And who are these people? Ye janaha, these people who are pari upasate. Paritaha upasate. Upasate is plural. Upaste, upasate, upasate. Even though it sounds singular, like labhate, upasate, it's not singular. Second conjugation is a trickster, very difficult. Each verb has its own way of behaving. And so, ananyaha chintayantaha mam ye janaha paryupasate. Those people who worship me, how do they worship me? Not in front of an altar. They worship me in front of the altar of surrender, which is Vedanta Shastra, from the standpoint of the non-separation between me and them. That's all they are interested in. They are interested in being one with me, cognitively speaking. They cannot handle the separation, they cannot handle the distance, and they want to just be one with me, and they know. Fact number one, they want to be one with me. Fact number two, they know that it can happen only cognitively through the study of Vedanta Shastra. So this doubt is another doubt also is hidden in here, is that what about all the other forms of worship? If I give up all the other forms of worship and Vedanta becomes the primary form of worship, won't I get papa? Or will I not stop collecting punya? Going to the temple I get punya, bowing down in front of the Lord and the goddess I get punya, doing arati I get punya, chanting this, that or the other, I get punya. But then I leave all this for Vedanta because there's only this many time during the course of the day I have to make some choices, let's say, and then I orient myself to just being the worshipper of the Lord in the form of the pursuer of this knowledge. Will I not be doing something wrong? That doubt is there. So therefore, the Lord says, pursuing the truth of me as yourself is the highest form of worship. And yes, even sitting in Vedanta class, you are collecting, not dakshina, punya. You are collecting punya. You are collecting punya even while sitting in Vedanta class, because Vedanta teaching is punya, Vedanta Shravana is also punya. Once I had gone with Pujya Swamiji somewhere in Andhra Pradesh, Rajamundri, and then all these, it was a full house, the hall used to be full every day. And then at the end there would be just this huge basket of fruits and all the people would come in line and Swamiji would distribute. It would take 1 hour to distribute, that many people. And then and there was all these ladies sitting in the back on the chairs, and then it was a 9-day program, and on the 9th day Swamiji said, how did you like the talks? Did you understand anything? They said no. Then how come you came and sat every day on time, and you were the first to come and sit and you were the last to leave? How come you did that? They said, we get punya sitting in front of you. We're not going to miss that for our lives. If 2 hours a day all I have to do is sit in front of a Mahatma and listen, and I will get punya. They said, yeah, a few words we could make out here and there, but most of it went above the head because it was in a different language. Swamiji used to teach in English, and they knew very little English. And Swamiji made that a point and made it a point to praise all of them. It was just really, really amazing to see how they would just sit and just nod their heads and just be so present. So even they who perhaps have not even, some of those ladies, perhaps elderly they were, perhaps have not even seen the outside of a school room, except perhaps to drop their children. They themselves haven't even gone to school. Even they know. They haven't gone to Gurukula. Even they know that Vedanta Shravanam brings punya. So this is promised here and reiterated. Your punya levels are not going to go down because you have neglected some duties, or you are not going as much to the worship. The formal worship is becoming less, and the worship in the form of Vedanta is gaining momentum. You are not going to miss out on the punya. Tesham, for these people who are nityabhiyuktanam, this is not a one-time affair. One time I study Vedanta. Kabhi kabhi mere dil mein Vedant ka khayal aata hai. You can't do that. You know, sometimes I feel like studying Vedanta. No, nitya abhiyuktanam, always there. The commitment is of the kind of unwavering commitment. unwavering commitment those who have, then what? There is a promise. What will I do for them? I will carry their burdens of all their raga and dveshas. I will carry. So just like some places you go, you cannot carry your cell phone, and they will say, please put it in this basket and collect it on the other side. Go to visit some monuments and all these things, Taj Mahal and some other places, to check in your cell phone. So here you check in all the yoga and kshema. Bhagavan says, I will carry. Oh, can I collect it on the other side? No need. It will fructify by the time you go on this path. What is yoga? Apraptasya prapanam. The gain of something I want and that which is not yet here. Yoga. What is kshema? The protection of that which is already here, but I am afraid you will take it away. So therefore I have to protect it. I have to protect it from the people. I have to protect it from myself. I have to protect it from itself. Like money has to be protected from itself. That's why it's called inflation. By the time you look around, it is worth less than before. So this is what is kshema. Normally speaking, without Vedanta, the whole life is one of yoga and kshema pursuit. The Kathopanishad calls it prayas. Pray for us. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you choose prayas, what you're saying is really to other people, please pray for us. Prayas. Preyo mandaha yogakshemat vrinite. That is the same Yogakshema. It's not that in the Upanishad it means cake and ice cream, and here it means praptasya prapanam and all, apraptasya prapanam. No, same Yogakshema here also, there also. The manda means slightly dull with regard to one's capacity to discern the pursuits. That person with less viveka is called manda. No vairagya, very little viveka, small flickering flame of viveka, little bit, not too much. The manda, when presented with the infinite on one plate and the finite on the other plate, looks carefully at both and then goes towards the infinite, but then says no, and takes the finite at the last minute. Preyo mandaha yogakshemat vrinite. The manda, the aviveki, chooses yoga and kshema and therefore chooses prayas. Prayas means that which is pleasing immediately. Drishtaphala is pleasing. And we saw in the 17th chapter, that which is pleasing in the beginning, that which is amritopamam in the beginning and difficult later on, what kind of sukha is it? Rajasic sukha. Meaning it burns itself out. The person burns themselves out pursuing this kind of a yoga and kshema. Pursuit of yoga and kshema is antithetical to surrender and bhakti. Because here I put myself as the karta. I am the karta. I am the agent that's producing what I want for myself in my life. I am the one who is the producer, the mover and the shaker of my own life. This is the feeling. Thank God it's just a feeling, it's not the truth. But a person wedded to the yoga kshema pursuits is not able to do ananya chintanam. And a person who is capable of contemplating upon Bhagavan as the truth of oneself and pursuing this knowledge, he does not have too much time to think of what am I going to eat, where am I going to go, what am I going to do, where am I going to live. These kinds of preoccupations are not there. Eventually they go away, and this is the promise that makes it go away. Bhagavan says, don't worry, I will be there. And it happens. You decide to study Vedanta, and things come. Things are provided. And you keep thinking, oh, I don't have money. Money comes. Oh, I want this. This comes. I want that. That also comes. And one finds that one is somehow completely taken care of. It is just so beautiful to live in that abandon, to not really micromanage one, forget other people. My own life, if I don't micromanage, it's kind of nice. What a burden, gone. And Bhagavan already said, this is not part of your portfolio. If you do somebody else's job, then you get tired. This is Bhagavan's job. Providing your yoga and kshema is Bhagavan's job. Leave it to Bhagavan. And you do what you are supposed to do. What are you supposed to do? What is the main job? Get rid of the self-ignorance through Atma-Jnanam. That is your job. You do that, and the rest of it, if you are doing what you are supposed to do, the rest of it will be taken care of by itself. So this verse is of great solace for the person studying Vedanta, wondering what's going to happen. I have changed so much. What about the bills? What about other people's expectations? What's going to happen? I get the courage. One gets the courage to just let all that go and just be one with that study that gives a lot of solace and shanti. Then from here we go to chapter 4, 36th verse. Api chedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamah sarvam jnanaplavena Vrijinam santarishyasi. So then the next question that can come, okay, fine, I have chosen Vedanta and I'm not worried about Y and K. What is Y and K? Yogakshema. So I'm not worried about Yogakshema. I have, I'm comfortable with Karma Yoga. I'm studying Vedanta also. But I have a lot of regrets. Why do you have regrets? I have done horrible things in my life. And I did not know that I had done so many horrible things. Why did I not know that I had done all these horrible things? Because at that time my value system was totally different. I did not know. I thought stealing was okay. Why? Because many people seem to do it. And then I thought that is okay. I thought was telling lies was okay because everybody does it. That's what I thought. Now I have come to understand that regardless of whether somebody is doing it or not doing it, I know that it is not right for me to do these things. But then I see a mountain of papa, a boatload of papa there. It's like sometimes from the west, all these abandoned ships full of garbage come and dock on the Indian Ocean. They just come like that. First world garbage sent to the third world. Two, three ships like this have come on the Indian shores. One on the Indian shore, one in Bangladesh, and one somewhere in Thailand. 2-3 times we used it. And being sent from somewhere, I don't know where, I don't know the details, but just adrift there. So then my papa is like this ship, ship full of non-biodegradable items. This papa is not biodegradable. It is non-biodegradable. That's what I feel. I have done terrible things in my life. This regret comes. It's natural. Especially as the antahkarana gets purer and purer, I am not able to live with that version of myself which I was before, which is described in the 16th chapter. What is that? Asuri vritti. Give me that. It's mine. You can't have it. You did this to me. Wait and see what I'm going to do to you. This is how I used to be. And now I'm not like that. But OMG, what about all those things standing in the account? Won't they come and then stand in the way of me gaining this knowledge? Naturally, the Papa will come and deny me this knowledge. My own burden of my guilt will press me and make me just leave this pursuit. What am I going to do? And this is the answer to that. Apiched papebhyah papakrittamah. Even if among all the people who have committed the worst papas, one comes first. First of the worst. Okay? Not first of the best. First of the worst papis. There is no best papi. You have to say worst papi. The first among the worst, if I come, then what is that? That's a very dubious distinction. Even if you are like that, this path of knowledge, this knowledge is so purifying that it will burn those papas. Vrijina papa. Vrijinam means papa. A fancy Sanskrit word for papa is vrijinam. You can go home and use it and impress your friends and family. Vrijinam santarishyasi. You will cross all these regrets, boatload of non-biodegradable papas that you think you have done. You will definitely cross them, it's a promise. This toxic sea of papa. How? By the boat of knowledge. We already saw this in the Dhyana Shloka. Bhishmadronatata Jayadratha-jala Gandhara-nilotpala Shalyagrahavati kripena vahane Karnena velakula Ashwathama vikarna ghora makara Duryodhana vartini Sotirna khalu pandavairana nadi Kaivartakah Keshavaha. Sa uttirna. Sa nadi uttirna. That river was easily crossed. And what was that river? Rana Nadi. The river of battle. The battle-crossed river. The war-crossed river full of alligators like Kripa and then whirlpools, dangerous undercurrent, smiling on the outside and undercurrent of whirlpools underneath like Duryodhana. Avartini means hidden whirlpool. And then Vahani, the rapids in the form of Kripa. Velakula, the big agitated waves in the form of Karna. Karna represents the waves. Bhishma and Drona are the two banks. You are in between a rock and a hard place. Arjuna was really in between a rock and a hard place. Which place to go? Both of them are on the side of adharma. And then Jayadratha was the water, Gandhara was the lotus. The lotus is nice, but then it is alluring. You swim to get the lotus and then the weeds pull you down. Very dangerous water. This side crocodile, that side shark. All biting things. And then with long rows and rows of unending teeth. These are the things that were there. And where is this happening? Don't say Kurukshetra. Which Kshetra? This Kshetra. Right here is Duryodhana, right here is Karna, right here Bhishma, Drona, all of them are right here. This is a Dharma Sankata. This is a Kshetra, it is a warfare in the heart. It is a conflicted heart. And this kind of a conflicted heart is always surrounded by fear, by terror, and things that make it afraid. How do I cross this? And what is this conflict? I have done things I should not have done. Kimaham papam akaravam, kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papam akaravam iti. What's the translation? Why did I do the wrong thing? Why didn't I do the right thing? This is the translation, along with swaras. So this is why didn't I do the right thing? Why did I do the wrong thing? I'm not able to overcome that. This is itself coming in the way of my studies. I don't know other people. The whole world can get moksha except me. I am not worthy. And the Lord says, no, I don't care about your past. Because there is no past. The one who makes a repast of the past is known as Bhagavan. That is Bhagavan. For the Bhagavan, it is always present. You are always present. You are always in the present. Bhagavan says, I look at you now. How you are now, that's what matters. You have undergone a big transformation, and that's what matters. And all those things, you can atone for them. You can do some japa, you can do some dana, you can do some charity, you can do all those things. That's different. Or you can straight away study Vedanta. That the Vedanta becomes the boat that takes you out of this toxic river. Where it is what alligator on one side and then all kinds of terrible chemicals on the other side. So this kind of a river where you are between a rock and a hard place, where one cannot seem to overcome one's regrets. This Jnana Plavena, with this boat called Atmajnanam Vedanta Shastra, all the papas are crossed over very easily. Why? How? Because the knowledge removes the guilt. Oh, knowledge removes guilt. How does the knowledge remove guilt? Knowledge removes guilt because it knocks you off as the karta. If there is no one to claim the guilt, what guilt? What hurt? Where is the guilt? The guilt is sitting in the heart because there is a claimant. I am the one who is saying, I did something wrong, I was adharmic in my younger days, or however one expresses it. I should not have hurt this one, I should not have taken this one's property, or whatever one is thinking. The I is up front and center. And what kind of I? Karta I. Karta I in the form of the doer is now suddenly become Bhokta I in the form of the one who has regrets, guilt. Karta, I did all these things, leads to Bhokta, I am repenting, now I am regretful. And what is the Atma that is revealed by the Bhagavad-Gītā? Neither Karta nor Bhokta. Ya enam vetti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam ubhau tau na vijanitaha na ayam hanti na hanyate. The act of killing is given here. The one who thinks Atma is killed, I am killed, I am a bhukta, the one who thinks I am a killer, both of them do not know. The killing is taken because the most heinous of all crimes. Both of them don't know that the Atma is free of kartritvam and bhoktritvam. A very beautiful verse. Just you can shed all the papa like a cat sheds the fur. You can just shed it all and then walk out knowing that as long as I'm in Vedanta, the past is just gone. The past is swallowed up in the light of the knowledge. I am neither karta nor I am the reaper of actions, bhokta. More we'll see tonight. What time tonight? 7:45. And if there are any questions, I will answer them also. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Drishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.